My name is Joaquin Salazar, but most folks have called me Jack ever since I joined Sandia back in the late 80s, when the lab still smelled like flux, grease, and burned coffee. I'm 62. I live in a cream-colored adobe on Indian School NE in Albuquerque, with my favorite view in the world, the Sandias washing pink at day's end. My routine is as simple as an old box wrench, a walk in the bosque before the sun fully gets up. An Americano at the Flying Star on Wyoming, the mug heating my fingers. Lunch, when I can swing it, is green chili that'll clear your head and then some. At night, baseball on the radio. After Elena passed, the house got big with echoes, and I became devout about the calendar stuck to the fridge and a black pen that doesn't forgive mistakes. I've got 2 kids. Marisol, she's a little past 40, is a nurse at the hospital up in Santa Fe, steady hands, an eyes on you calm in the hallway. And Eric, mid-30s pushing 40, runs a remodeling outfit called Mesa Fix. He talks fast, fingers drumming on the table like he's setting the world to his tempo, and he's obsessed with what he calls optimizing. Optimize everything. My time, my passwords. More hammer than ear. Always good at building, worse at boundaries. A password is why my life hung by a wire for a few days. It was a nothing burger of a Friday, close to noon, at the Smith's on Juan Tabo. Cart with bread, milk, pinto beans, a few jalapenos, a bag of coffee. I headed to self-checkout like always, tapped my Nusenda credit union card, and there it was, the beep I hate. That dry machine beep that doesn't know you from Adam. Transaction denied. I breathed through my nose, tried again. Another beep. Denied. A young woman with a blue name tag, trained smile, slid over and asked if I wanted to try credit. I did. Denied. I'm not one for scenes, but I felt heat climb my neck. I paid cash. Stubborn old school habit. I always carry some. I walked to the parking lot like leaving a room where the light keeps flickering, sat in my older Honda CR-V, AC cold on my face, and opened the banking app. Wrong password. Again. Wrong password. And the third message no adult wants to see. Last attempt before locking the account. My whole body said, Jack, breathe. You botched it once, you botched it twice. Don't turn the third into a soap opera. I closed the app, flipped the card and called the number on the back. Nusenda, this is Monique, how can I help? On her end, the hiss of a call center, air blowing and that goodwill people have when they can see your name. Monique, my name is Joaquin Salazar. My card just got declined. I can't get into the app, I didn't change any password. She walked me through the liturgy of questions. Address, the last 4 of my social, my mother's maiden name, Alvarez, always has been. And when she confirmed it was really me, her tone shifted. Mr. Salazar, I see here your password was changed early yesterday morning via online banking. Confirmation was texted to a number ending in 0884. There was an email added as a trusted device, and Zelle was activated with a contact that starts with Eric. 0884 were Eric's last 4. I felt my stomach drop into open air. The world didn't go dark. It got way too bright. Monique kept going. No transfers went through. But I do see attempts to link an external Bank of America account, blocked by our system. I can lock your online banking, remove devices, deactivate Zelle, and you can stop by a branch to formalize your dispute. I can open a case and note that you did not authorize these changes. I've always been a measure twice, cut once man. Not the moment to yell. It was time to save the circuit. Do all of that now. Lock my online access, turn off Zelle, remove any trusted devices, change my account number. I'll stop by the branch today, and please put it in writing that I didn't authorize any of it. Yes, sir, I'll place a security hold and open a case. You can come to the Montgomery branch. We'll have you sign an affidavit of unauthorized access. I hung up with my voice caught halfway up my throat, fingers tingling. I called Eric. Son, did you mess with my account? He laughed. That short laugh people use when they think they've already got you in their pocket. Dad, relax. I optimized. You always forget passwords. I put everything in a manager. If something glitches, I can fix it. I can pay your bills, handle your deposits. It's for your own good. for your own good, should come with a siren. I kept my voice low so anger wouldn't run the call. You don't touch my goods, the password is mine, and you're out of any access as of right now. Dad, don't be dramatic. I'll send you a link, we'll reset and… No, you're going to get an email from my attorney. Today. He tried to teach me how to use an app like I hadn't calibrated equipment he couldn't even power on. I hung up before I said words you can't unsay. If you're a dad, a mom, or just someone who's going to grow old one day, stay with me to the end. I learned in a few days what a lot of people suffer in silence for years. I flipped this game, and you're going to hear how. You won't believe what I did next. What hurts me in this story isn't a password. It's ingratitude wrapped up as care. It's disrespect blowing into your house like a draft through a crack you opened yourself when you said, "Give me a hand." I'm no saint. I'm stubborn. But nobody gets to 62 in one piece without having held a screw with cold fingers. At Sandia, I learned you tune an instrument with your ear against the metal, breathing a little ozone, reading the vibration. I remember my first overnight in the lab, fluorescence buzzing, the workbench grounding mat under my palm. The smell was a mix of isopropyl and coffee that had given up. I was there, instrumentation tech, eyeing a panel, when my supervisor, a guy with a mustache that looked drawn with a ruler, stepped beside me and spoke low. Measure twice, cut once, and if it shorts, pull the breaker before the fire learns to walk. I've carried that line in my back pocket ever since. I raised Marisol and Eric with Elena, trading shifts and splitting bills. Marisol learned early to twist her hair and pin it into a bun with a pencil before heading in. Eric learned the hammer before he learned to say sorry. I built them a bunk bed out of cheap pine with the care of a whole Saturday. The glue made the air sweet. Elena, in a straw hat I loved, laughed easy when I overdid the green chile, and the house, clean, smelling of candles and beans simmering, seemed to wake up again when she took the pot off the flame. She's gone now, and there's the quiet. And when quiet gets too big, some people mistake it for incapacity. I got by on my own. Calendar on the fridge with a chili pepper magnet, black pen in my shirt pocket, two-factor on my logins because life taught me one layer is never enough. I like the bank because it keeps the account tidy, my social security hitting when it should, my property tax paid on time, my IRA fed when I can, patience and a system. When his mom died, Eric looked at me like I'd turned into fragility. "Dad, I'm going to shield you," he said in the hospital parking lot. Hard arm hug, disinfectant in the air. I thanked him. It's a beautiful thing when your kid wants to climb on the roof and adjust the antenna for you. The problem is when he climbs up and decides to swap the whole wiring without telling you. Smith's day was just the beep. Before that, there'd been smaller humiliations I kept swallowing without naming. The first time he took my spare key because I'd leave the lights on. The Thanksgiving when he explained, in front of the nieces and nephews, the difference between a PDF and a JPEG, like he was handing me a spoon. The time he set up a deal with his accountant to advance my refund without asking me. Each move was a penny dropping into a piggy bank of anger. Pennies rarely hurt, but when you crack it open and heft it, it adds up to something that does. Felt like about 2,800 and change in accumulated disrespect. I called Marisol still in the parking lot, and the sound of her voice put me back in line. "Mari, Eric messed with my account. I had to lock everything down. Today I'm seeing a lawyer to update my will and power of attorney. I want you as executor. Your brother's out." "Okay, Dad, I'll get there early evening. Save me some coffee." She didn't ask why like she was lining me up for judgment. She said, "I'll get there," like she was lining up to care. The first snap of the circuit was coming from where I least expected. I pulled out of the lot and went straight to the Nusenda branch on Montgomery. Glass door, AC cold enough to make you hug your own arms. The manager greeted me with my mother's last name, Ortega, and the steady look of someone who's seen plenty of sons think dad equals password. Little glass office, a pen with some heft, and the kind of formality that used right protects you. "Mr. Salazar, we're going to zero everything. I'll shut down your online banking, change your account number, cut off all trusted devices, and turn off Zelle. I'll also flag your profile so any sensitive changes happen in branch only. Would you like to make a police report to document this? It's not about criminalizing your son. It's about creating a paper trail. I wanted paper. Paper holds the wind. I signed an affidavit spelling it out in big letters. Nobody touches anything but me. I walked out with a new account, a new card, an open case, and a folder with a handwritten note to update my Social Security deposit. I felt something like when a bolt finally catches the right thread. On the way back, somewhere on Juan Tabo, I checked my phone. A message from Eric. Not regret, irritation. Dad, you didn't have to go that far. Marisol lives far away. I'm the one here. You're going to need me. I answered with the economy Elena taught me. I want you. I don't need you as the key to my safe. He showed up on Sunday. He didn't come inside. I don't open my door when the wind's still high. We stood on the porch under the cotton Easter shade, and I laid out the papers. I explained the law I'd learned the day before. He raised his voice, called it lawyer stuff that feeds off family fights, said I don't understand modern life. I let the gust pass. I only said, modern life is having two-factor on the right phone, and family doesn't use their dad's second factor in the middle of the night. He wanted coffee. I gave him coffee. He wanted a hug. I gave him a hug. He wanted access. I said no. Humiliation comes in a series. The card getting bounced at the market. The gas pump making me swallow hard when it chirped, try another method. A little pharmacy purchase, 12 and change, that I paid with coins from the console. The coins Elena called our road stash. The next day, Nusenda called to confirm an attempt to link an external account. I said no, no, and no, until my own voice turned into a key. At home, while I was printing documents, an email landed from Mesa Fix, my son's company. An auto template asking for permission to simplify your day. I recognized the smiley marketing tone. It offered a support program for busy parents, just under $50 a month, with a bright blue button that said, I trust Eric to manage my accounts. The letters felt like a bad joke tossed in my lap. I can still taste the metal telling it. So I did what an old fox does when the young one pushes, documentation. I called Albuquerque Police's non-emergency line, said I wanted to file an incident. Unauthorized change of banking credentials by a family member. On the other end, a polite voice gave me a long case number, which I copied into my notebook. No siren, just paper. And I booked a mobile notary for late afternoon, Ruth, who answers texts from the UPS store on Juan Tabo. The smell of cardboard and fresh ink is the smell of solutions. With all that stacked, I sat on the leather sofa Elena picked, leather that creaks when you move, and that's when the anger hit. I remembered the Thanksgiving when Eric set up a pill reminder app without asking and had it chime in the middle of dinner. I remembered when he linked my account to his email to get the summaries. The only summary was about 146 and change in fees that quarter, to prop up his modernity. I added up the little leaks, the months his cell plan insisted on hitting my card, a cloud subscription he swore he'd cancel tomorrow, a storage app tapping me for about $10 month after month, a mosaic of right around $750 in shame. Enough to say, enough. I didn't know that first enough was just the beginning. What I was about to do next would change not just my account, but my family's whole map. Early afternoon found me sitting across from Carmen Yazzie, an elder law attorney in a low building on Louisiana Boulevard. Clean carpet, good coffee, a mug with the Zia sun. She listened like someone carrying a full cup. I told it all, from the market beep to my son's laugh. I handed over my papers, my will to fix this, my old will that named Eric as personal representative out of inertia and fresh grief. I handed over my old durable power of attorney, the one that gave Eric powers he didn't honor. She flipped, underlined, and spoke with the calm of someone who's seen this script too many times. We're taking Eric off everything, today. We'll update your will, your power of attorney, your healthcare directive, and any access authorizations. If you're willing, we'll put your house into a revocable trust. That way, when you go, long time from now, she rapped the desk 3 times. There's no formal probate. You'll name Marisol as personal representative and successor trustee. Name a backup, your nephew Diego, because life likes to test Plan A. We'll revoke the prior power of attorney in writing and notify Eric and anywhere that might have a copy. And we'll do a letter from you, no legalese, explaining where things are and why. Do it. All of it. I said it with the same voice I used tightening a nut at Sandia, the kind that doesn't back off. Carmen was as quick as a good night shift tech. In under 2 hours, I had on the table a new last will and testament with Marisol named as personal rep, a Salazar revocable living trust with my house and lot, me as trustee while I'm alive and able, Marisol as successor, a fresh durable power of attorney with Marisol as my agent and Diego as alternate, a healthcare directive with my choices plain, no poetry and no fear, and maybe the most liberating sheet of all, a revocation of prior power of attorney, signed with my full name like pudding, the keys back in the right pocket. There was also a letter of instruction, my plain language note telling them where the safe is, where the key is, who to call, and how I see the world. Ruth, the notary, arrived near the end of the day. The pen scratched with the confidence of someone who's tightened a lot of bolts. Stamps here, initials there, Carmen checking, and me taking back into my own name pieces of myself I'd outsourced without noticing. When she handed me a navy binder with tabs, will, trust, POA, health revocation, I felt lighter than after a good run in the Bosque. Now, logistics, Carmen said, already handing me a handwritten list. Not bullet points, just one clean line. Go to your bank with the trust certification to retitle the account in the trust's name. Update beneficiaries on your IRA and life insurance. Tell Social Security about the new account. And today, still today, email Eric with the revocation attached and your letter. Send it certified. Sometimes respect needs a postmark. I'll send it today, I said, and I did. The note I sent my son was short as an Allen wrench. Eric, your help is welcome when it's asked for. You changed my password and altered my bank settings without authorization. As of today, your power of attorney is revoked. You're no longer the personal representative in my will. Marisol is my agent and personal representative. Diego is the alternate. Any access to my accounts without me present will be treated as interference. If it continues, as a crime. With love and a boundary, Dad. I hit send and looked at the photo of Elena in a straw hat in Old Town, laughing with her whole face. I wanted her to see me pulling the breaker on a circuit that was starting to heat. I thought the counter-strike would be just paperwork. I was wrong. I was about to expose the pattern hiding behind, "It's for your own good." And I'd do it without a drop of defamation. Just light where it's dark. The next morning, early, I took the trust certificate to Nusenda. The same manager, Ortega, retitled my account to Joaquin Salazar, trustee of the Salazar Revocable Living Trust. I updated the beneficiary on my IRA at Bank of Albuquerque, made it clear IRA's name people. The trust holds the house. I went to the USPS and mailed Social Security a letter with the new account. And I called my doctor's office and the dental plan. That old power of attorney is dead. Keep the new one on file. If you call for decisions, Marisol speaks, not Eric. By afternoon, Eric had answered my email. It wasn't a conversation, it was a complaint. Dad, this is overkill. Marisol's far. You've forgotten passwords plenty of times. I'm just trying to avoid work down the road. Down the road. That line people use when they want to control today in the name of a tomorrow they painted by themselves. I answered without vinegar. You can avoid work right now by reading and respecting the paperwork. Carmen, thorough as ever, sent her letter too. Plain, professional. Informing Eric, Mesafix, and any vendor listed as an emergency contact that the prior power of attorney was revoked. It wasn't a threat. It was a line on the ground. Up to then, everything was happening backstage. That's when I decided to write to my world. Not a newspaper, tempting for the vengeful. An open letter to my circle. I sent it by email to my brothers, my cousins, my church group, the president of our neighborhood association, and I posted it on Nextdoor, The title was simple, same as the one you've been reading with your eyes. My son changed my bank password. I changed the personal representative. In the body, I told the story with dry facts. No more exposure than needed. And at the end, the paragraph I most wanted to stick. If you love your father or your mother, understand this. Care isn't a password. Respect has two factors, love and boundaries. Help that bulldozes another person's will turns into invasion. And invasion with love as the last name is the kind that cuts deepest. I hit send and went walking. The river ran low, leaves making the soft sound of rain when the wind moved through. When I got back, there were more responses than I could count in my inbox and on Nextdoor. Neighbors, many older than me, saying, "It happened to me." A gentleman over by Manzano wrote that his son opened a credit card in his name to speed up purchases. A woman with a steady voice said she had 2 sisters and a brother, and the brother self-anointed as manager and bought a tablet with their mother's account. People thanked me for naming and numbering what they'd been calling helping for good. I saw it wasn't just me. It was a pattern, and patterns only cool down when somebody turns on the hallway light. Mesafix, for its part, had my face down in the footer of their website, happy client holding a wrench. A photo Eric snapped in my backyard without asking, saying, "Just for testing." I wrote the company formally and asked them to remove my image and any pairing with my data. I mentioned, without drama, that I had an open case at the bank and a police report. In a couple of days, the site swapped the photo. The next day, one of Eric's suppliers, a guy who sells quartz countertops, called me. He knows me from the flea market. We once haggled over an old toolbox. "Jack, I got an authorization with your name for a corporate discount. It asks for your social and your mailing. Felt off. Did you sign this?" "I did not. I won't. Thanks for calling." "I like you, Jack. Folks who sign real tools. I'll make sure this doesn't go through me." I don't know what yanked the brake first. My email, the website without my face, Carmen's letter, or the police case written out with a long number that feels like a password. I do know the thing started to take on a shape everyone could see, and when everyone can see it, the person doing harm loses the cloak of, "I'm just being careful." The following Sunday, the family gathered at Marisol's place. The living room smelled like tortillas on the griddle and beans that insist on simmering. Eric came. He brought tamales so good even their lies were sweet. In the hallway, he pulled me aside. "Dad, can we talk?" "We can. I messed up, bad. I thought I was avoiding work down the road." "You made more work now, Eric," I said, still without vinegar. "Work of rebuilding trust. You know what that costs? Worse than bank fees. It's expensive, and you can't pay it in installments." He glanced at Marisol, who was lining up plastic containers in the fridge with the precision of someone setting a surgical tray. He swallowed whatever comeback he had. Then, slowly, "I respect it. Not much, but it's a start." Before I left, I took the Navy binder, opened to the letter of instruction, and read out loud a line I'd penciled along the bottom. Big handwriting meant to ring in your head even when nobody's reading. If someone messes with the panel without knowing the circuit, pull the breaker. Maybe not everyone at dinner got the metaphor. Eric did. Months later, the house was breathing at a different tempo. I bought a small safe for the office. I keep the Navy binder in there and the key to the bigger safe. I added a physical security key to my email because the world won't stop inventing tricks. Marisol, with that rounded nurse's handwriting, built an updates notebook with me. Inside, on pages that don't shout, sit the pieces of what I am. The Nusenda account titled in the trust, the beneficiaries, the review dates with Carmen and with my accountant, Ms. Ortiz, and the trusted contacts. On the cover, Marisol wrote in green ink, "No shared passwords, no access without asking, no love without boundaries." I left the line there, front and center, like a sign on a lab door. Be right back. Only here the right back is life settling into its proper place. "Derek?" He went quiet. Sometimes silence is humility dressed up as pride. Sometimes it's pride wearing the wrong suit. One day he showed up with an old toolbox that reminded me of my father. He wiped his hands on his jeans, looked over my yard, the CRV I keep with care, the shine of the metal on the wrench in my hand, and said, "I want to help the right way. If you want, I'll go with you for the car service, just to drive back when you're tired." "Good help," I said. "Help that comes by invitation gets a seat at the table." He grinned sideways. Didn't ask for a password, didn't try to explain an app. Just brought me coffee the way I like it. Strong, no sweetness. The tally of humiliations stopped growing. The account that started to rise was trust, minted in rare coins, asking, respecting, repairing. Sometimes I reread the letter I sent to my world. That post turned into corner store conversations, comments after mass, questions on the trail. A woman with white hair stopped me one morning and said, "You gave me a line to tell my son. Love with boundaries." I wished her the peace I'm learning again. I'm not romantic about it. I haven't forgotten the beep. I haven't forgotten Eric laughing on the other end. I haven't forgotten the pharmacy making me dig out coins, but I also haven't forgotten Marisol's hand over mine at the table. Warm, steady. I haven't forgotten my son's apology in his eyes, which hurt the most because it came from someone I love. On the shelf beside Elena's photo, straw hat in Old Town, the navy binder sleeps. Now and then I open the will and the trust and read a line or two, like checking the lock before bed. Marisol as personal representative, Diego as alternate, revocable trust. Words that never lived in my vocabulary turned into tools. They serve me. They don't boss me. That's how it should be. On the bathroom mirror, a post-it from Marisol winks green on mornings when I get up slower. No shared passwords. No access without asking. No love without boundaries. I brush my teeth, shave, and say it under my breath so I can hear my own voice. I wish every parent could say it without fear of losing a child, because someone who loves and respects you doesn't walk away because you said no. Someone who wants control does. I know one day I'll go. We all do. I'm not in a hurry. While I'm here, I keep flipping the right circuits on and shutting down the ones that heat up for no good reason. My house has open doors for love that shows up barefoot. For access, I've got criteria, keys, and my hand's the only one on the panel. And if I ever falter, it's all written in black ink the way Elena would have liked. The way I know how. Simple, clear, firm. When I tell people my son changed my bank password, I'm not looking for fireworks. I'm telling it because that's how you put out a fire that starts invisible. Name the spark, isolate the wire, change the personal representative when the one with the key confuses care with take. Respect and money don't run in separate rivers. Someone who respects you won't steal your autonomy. Someone who loves you asks. And me? I'm still here, with my coffee, my Sandias turning pink again, and a quiet certainty in my chest. The light comes on because I decided so. That's how it was always meant to be. Subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts about the story in the comments. See you in the next one.